Hey guys, welcome on in. We are doing a quick preview of the final exam, and more specifically, the races writing question that's required. Now it's a 20-point question. There's only 32 points available, and so keep in mind, 20 points is a lot. So you want to nail this question so you can be successful, and I'm going to show you how in this video. Okay, so this is a dummy question. It's not the question you'll see, but it's a good question to use as an example. It says, which character in Freak the Mighty was the most static and why? So what I want you to do is just think about for just a moment, pause the video and think which character was the most static. Now, static means a character who doesn't change at all or changes very little. Which character do you think best fit that description? Okay, pause the video, think about it, come right back. Hopefully you took some time to pause the video and think about that. Now, I'm going to share my response with you. And remember, the first part of races is the R and the A, meaning restate an answer. A good restated answer would look something like this. The character in Freak the Mighty that was most static was Killer Kane. So we took this question and turned it into a statement. Now, we're not going to worry about the why yet because we're going to explain why as we go through the next couple of parts of this assignment. Okay, so the next thing we need to think about is what made him a static character. Go ahead and pause the video when you're ready and think back to the very beginning of the book up until now. What has made him a static character? Okay, take a few moments, pause, and think about that. Okay guys, welcome on back. So as you can tell, my answer just got a little bit longer here in the text box. And here's what it says. It says, at the beginning of the story, Grim and Graham were terrified of Max becoming just like his father because his father was a cold-blooded murderer. And later in the story, we learn that their fears are probably warranted or justified because Killer Kane proves he's still an unreformed beast, meaning he's still a very, very bad man, right? So what we do for that next part of races is we want to give the reader who is reading this a little bit of a lead in explaining what makes him a static character. And that's why I asked you that question. Okay, so that's going to help you with that section. Now, the next part, you need to cite evidence because we are up here on the C part. Where could you find evidence to prove that he's still an unreformed beast, meaning he's still capable of murder and he hasn't really changed. He's a hardened convict. Okay, I want you to think about that. Find some evidence you could point to in the book and then come back once you're ready. Okay, go ahead and pause. Hey guys, welcome on back again. So I'm not sure what you found, but I'm going to share what I found with you and give you one more tip. Like I said, this is another one of those golden nuggets. Okay, so when you start off providing your evidence, one thing I recommend you do is put in one place where the reader can see this is when. Okay, so that's a good way to start off. It's a nice little transition to your next thought. So one place where the reader can see this is when. Loretta tries to rescue Max, but her attempt is stymied, meaning it's stopped, when Killer Kane intervenes, and the author describes the action this way. So now we're going to provide our textual evidence. So we open quotes, and notice there's an ellipsis at the beginning because we're leaving part of the quote out. It says, he's squeezing her dead with her bare hands, and no one can stop him. No one, no one. And then we close quotes and put in the parenthetical with the author's last name. Now notice you don't need a page number this time, and here's why. The copy of the book that's scanned in actually doesn't have the page numbers on it. So we're going to be okay with just the author's last name, but remember the period doesn't go here, it goes here. So it's kind of like a decimal in math, you carry it over. Okay, so that's my evidence. Basically what I did is I looked at his actions. You could look at his actions, you could look at dialogue, meaning things he says. You could also look at the author's attitude toward the character, but in this case we looked at his actions. Which actions showed he's still an unreformed beast? Well, right here, when he's squeezing somebody else dead, while trying to kill Loretta because she got in the way and interfered with his plans. Okay, so that would be good evidence to support that. Now, the next thing is we need to show we need to explain what this proves about the character. So what does it show about the character? Well, it shows exactly what we just described. So now we're going to elaborate on that, but I want you to get some practice here. So think about, how would you explain what this quote shows about the character? Okay guys, welcome back again. Hopefully you took a minute to pause the video and think about, how would I explain what this quote shows? So here's my explanation. It says, this shows Killer Kane is living up to his name and reputation. He's nothing more than an uncivilized human being who will do anything to protect his own self-interest. And that's probably a very light way of putting it, but that's the truth of the matter. Okay, so the last step is the S in races. Sum it up. So how would you sum up this whole paragraph? So I want you to stop and think about that for just a moment, come back, and then see how what you thought of stacks up with what I put down. Hey guys, welcome on back for our last time. It says, to sum up, comma, Killer Kane deserves to be locked in prison for the rest of his life because he's a danger to others. Now, some of you out there are probably going to say he deserves an electric chair. I'm not that cruel. I'm going to say, you know what, just lock him up and make him serve his time. So that's my opinion on the matter. You do not have to agree with it. But that's my viewpoint. And that's how you write a racist paragraph for this response. So notice it is a beefy paragraph, but that's what we want, about 5 to 6 sentences, maybe a little more, definitely not too much less. And remember to use good spelling, grammar, and all those good things you've been learning all year. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in and good luck on that final assessment. Hopefully this helps you. However, if you do have additional questions, feel free to email at chris.bagley@ccsdut.org. Thanks again.